Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor and I help people navigate through their ascension process, and today is going to be part 2 of the September 2017 Ascension Energy Update. You can check out part 1. I'll put a card or something up there or make it available to you if you have not seen that. Today I'm going to get more into the practical, more specific types of symptoms of going through life in this new type of situation and energy. So number 1 is I put a lot of I felt such a significance with the month of August as a whole, the whole eclipse season, all kind of peaking and culminating with this most recent full eclipse. And what I'm finding within myself and with just people I know and people I'm working with and just seeing comments and so forth, as anticipated, it was significant, and it seems that everyone made a massive jump, some kind of jump. Regardless of where you were and who you were at the start of August, we're at a different place now. You're a different person, different things on your mind, different emotions, different perceptions, different everything. You might just be totally like just everything's just expanded kind of abruptly. And that is awesome. It was a big jump, a big leap as I expected, and it seems to be kind of playing out that way. But there are sometimes temporary symptoms and side effects of taking such a big leap and then going through life from this new perspective resulting from that leap. So now I'll get more into some of those different types of behaviors and things that you might be experiencing. And also, because it's sort of familiar to me in a sense, these jumps, I've been going through this aware for quite a while. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tools that, and anyway, work for me, and I personally do, that help me maintain myself while adjusting to all of this, the new me, the new you. So it can be very common for people to kind of relapse in a sense and start exhibiting old, addictive, compulsive, unhealthy behaviors as a means of relieving stress in the way they've learned how. But that can be kind of, there are consequences to that. I just know, I've talked to a lot of people who are kind of going through this. I feel this in myself. You know, a few weeks ago I was eating really healthy. I really felt like, even though things were tough, building up to that eclipse, I really was like making some good, I felt like I had a lot of control in my life, a lot of self-control and self-mastery. But I've been feeling quite scattered right now, and I've been kind of more indulgent than normal. Like last night I went to the pool with my little kids, and I basically, for a while, I've been successfully eating a diet devoid of anything processed, just really real foods. And I do that for the most part, and always have, but I've been taking it to a new extreme because I feel like it's important to be the best I can be. I want to anyways. But anyways, I was having kind of a rough day. I felt like behind at life. And as we were taking my kids to the pool, there was this stupid 100-calorie bullshit bag of pretzels, gluten-free pretzels, sitting in like the dash, the glove compartment or whatever. And they're like, my kids eat them and stuff. And normally I would not be one to like even consider that, but I ate them and in kind of a fiendish way. And I was like, man, what is with you? And it just got me thinking. That was not the only incident. There are other things like that kind of built up to that. And I really felt like I went to bed last night thinking like, man, you really you got to get a grip, man. But it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to be in a state of stress and uncertainty due to the crazy changes I've been going through. So what I've learned about this, I have kind of a twofold approach. One of them is I always do admit and take responsibility for occurrences like that. I don't blame it on the energies. Nope, it's a free-for-all and party time because the energies are intense. No, I don't do that. I always look at it like, you attracted this exact situation at this exact time into your life. Why? What is the meaning? What have you yet to uncover? I found that all my different issues are not just singular. There's layers to them. It's like a big onion. So I examined that particular layer of that addictive onion that I've been unraveling for a long time now, thinking I've licked it only to return or resurface in some way. So I try to learn from it. At the same time, with that said, I balance that with not feeling like a failure. I don't get caught up in the illusion of, because sometimes the awakening can really give you a real tangible sense of release. And you feel totally like, I'm free. I'm free of that issue. I can see how obvious it was and how it was affecting my life, and no more. I've acquired sufficient clarity and I've transcended it, and I feel that way. It's true. And then life happens, and then, oh, nope, here, see, there it is. You didn't really transcend it. I used to get so pissed off and so like, oh my goodness, like what's the point? Like, what's the point of it all? This is just not fair. I did so much work to release that back in the day. It took me like several annoying circumstances that were challenging and stressful to me, and I made the best of it, and I transcended it, and I had that whole feeling of lightness and connection. And here I am again, months down the line, and it's back. I allow that to happen. I don't get too bent out of shape. I talked about this in the last video. I forgive myself quickly. I don't attach to what I perceive to be a healing or a state of completion. I just sort of try to stay open and say, okay, this is here. Why is that there? Okay. And I look at it more objectively and with a curious mindset, and I don't allow it to really bog me down or make me feel horrible about myself. And that's kind of my advice if you're struggling with addiction, or you're going back to some old habits that you haven't done in a while and now they're back, and then I'd say just don't give yourself kind of a break. Learn from it, take responsibility, but don't let it ruin your day or week. You just keep getting on the horse over and over and over again. No matter how many times, how many layers to that onion, so be it. Another thing you might notice in other people, probably first, and then if you're real honest, maybe within yourself, is this energy, this speed can really make you feel ungrounded and like dreamy, get kind of like lost in magical thinking and so forth. I noticed this, as I said, a lot in other people, the types of people reach out to me and stuff, the types of messages I've been getting. Just they seemed like more out there in a sense than I'm used to getting. We're all kind of out there, me too, so I'm used to it. But it's like, wow, but I recognize that because I know that within myself. I've been in that sort of state, and I feel the tendency right now, like I have to check myself to stay grounded, to not be too like disconnected from reality, disconnected from how me behaving is actually affecting people. We can really get kind of lost in the stirring of all the energy, and before you know it, we're shaking and being weird, and to us it seems normal, but you guys looking at the camera saying, dude, this guy, he's shaking, he's like being weird, he's dancing around like a freaking Fruit Loop. So I check myself. I have a lot of clients, most of them I talk to on the phone, some I email, and I've been kind of like going back through and checking my emails because I can almost feel my perspective and everything kind of all over the place and shifting as I write it. And I'm like, man, I'm almost responding from like a different part of myself than I was above. And I had the sense, like some of them, like, you should go back through and make sure that's all coherent, Vic. So I did. So that's all it is again, maybe this is not something you're going through, but because the reality we are living in is in a sense changing. Things are becoming more synchronistic and fluid, and we're becoming less stuck, more fluid in space and time, it seems. We can kind of get lost in it. But I found that those dreamy periods, they kind of come and they go, and they come and they go, and they come and they go. And it can seem plausible, and it can make sense sometimes to make certain decisions from that dreamy state. And then when it goes away and you're left with like the repercussions of those stupid mistakes you made that seem so like they made so much sense before, it can be a real struggle. So I really try to balance logic and groundedness with all of my with all of my life. And it's not always easy. It seems harder these days than others, but that always settles down and it's fine. Number 4, you might be finding it's time to set some boundaries. Yourself, people. We no longer can hide or ignore the energy value of our person-to-person exchanges. If you're a people pleaser, like many of us are, I can relate to that big time, it's going to bite you in the ass. You'll feel like, wow, this mode of operation is really complicated my life. And there's a lot of situations that are kind of like my energy is going every which way. And I've kind of found that to be the case for myself a little bit. And I'm realizing that as frustrating as it is, I kind of set it up that way. That was my doing. And if I want it to change, I'm going to have to set boundaries. But that's not always easy, setting boundaries. You have to make other people sometimes feel uncomfortable. Say, hey, I know I once tolerated this, but no more. Why? Well, I've changed. You've changed? Oh, who do you think it... Here's a line, buddy. It can be tough to set boundaries, especially if you've been exhibiting if you've been playing a certain role within relationships for such a long time, your whole life, and all of a sudden you're like, no. And you'll have to say no. You'll have to set those boundaries. Otherwise, you're going to be exhausted all the time. And you just won't feel right. You'll feel like you're out of sync, and you are. But people avoid the boundaries because they're uncomfortable, man. They're very uncomfortable to set with people, no matter any way you want to put it. It's like breaking up with somebody, or I had to fire somebody one time when I had my gym. That was just like those uncomfortable, awkward conversations that we all want to avoid, and a lot of people do, but to their own detriment. I think a lot of people are people pleasers. I think a lot of nice people justify it because they feel it's nice of them. That was my thinking anyway. I always thought of myself as someone who's really, really nice. And I was very nice. But on one level, I was nice. A lot of the way I would be with people, like going back in like grade school and stuff, was very altruistic. I really do have a good heart, and I had that back then. But also, I was really nice because my sense of self was kind of fragile, and I learned that being nice created very convenient and nice experiences with people. People really responded well when I was nice to them. But like a lot of you, I realized I was overextending myself. I had a lot of imbalanced relationships, and when I started to change, sometimes people would react because I'm not being the old Victor, and I would feel like, wow, am I doing something wrong? Am I just being mean now? What is this? Am I some kind of like ego trip? Am I being selfish? These are all conversations I recommend you just have with yourself and just be honest with yourself. But you'll have a lot more data to work with because you'll feel, again, the energy exchange between you and another person. You'll feel who's bringing more consciousness, more life force energy to the table. And you're going to probably find yourself tired of getting drained all the time, and you're going to either make the boundaries, and then in doing so, you'll attract other people that actually have something to bring to the table. That it's like a synergistic effect. A relationship should be like greater than the sum of its parts. But oftentimes, it's one part keeping the relationship together to their own detriment. Anyways, I said enough on the whole boundary thing. If that's an issue, maybe what I said can help you. I know what I said is going to help me, so hopefully it will help you as well. Number 5. This is just a word of the wise. Again, something I'll be doing myself that I think will be helpful in this type of energy, is to start chipping away at long-term plans. A lot of us, because of the unrest in our lives, is breeding a lot of insights as to, like, I know this is the challenge, but I also know what I got to do to fix it. But what I got to do is going to take some time, which I have none of. And I know for me, the all or nothing mentality doesn't seem to work while going through the ascension so quickly. I found that I have to slowly make headway towards the things I want in life, the solutions to my current problems. And there will be times where I can be very productive and the energy is supportive of that, and there are times where it's not. There's a lot of other things calling for my attention. But I found that if I'm to accomplish these goals, I have to be able to move forward regardless. I can no longer wait for things to settle down. They used to seem to happen more in the past. Things don't seem to ever settle down in my neck of the woods anyways. And I just realized that it's little steps over time accumulate. Just like one of my favorite movies of all time, The Shawshank Redemption. I think it's Tim Robbins, the main character, I believe his name is. He was wrongly accused of murder, and he's thrown in jail. And he got a hold of a little, like, you guys have probably seen it, you probably don't need me to tell, but Anyway, he eventually took him like 18 years, I think. He broke out of jail. And he had this little hammer, and he would just chip this tunnel over time. He was smart. He knew that, wow, it's a long way I have to chip this tunnel through rock. He said, but I had nothing but time, man, and I might as well make use of it. So he said it's just a matter of pressure over time. But a lot of people, they're waiting. They're hoping that someone's going to bring along a bulldozer and just do it nice and quickly. Because the idea of pressure over time is just not very appealing to our desire and need and conditioned requirement of instant gratification. But yet, that's how the masters throughout history have done it. It's about that pressure over time. And again, going through a spiritual awakening, feeling so ungrounded and all over the place can make it seem like it's just so hard to put that pressure in. And it is. It really is hard. I really have to feel, I feel like sometimes when I'm carrying out plans I set for myself that it's just so against the grain. I feel so weighed down by my conditioning and my emotions. But I do my damnedest, and I just keep putting even a little pressure forward so I can go to bed that night and feel good about myself. Even if everything else went to shit and it was a big mess my day, if I can look and say, you know, there's these few things that are important to me that I made headway in, I will sleep good. And in doing so, when the energies do change, you'll catch that gust of wind, and you'll be thankful for those hours grinding. So that's my advice, my friends. I hope this helps you. I'll probably do some other videos of this nature throughout the month. I've really come to enjoy the energy reports and doing them. I find them to be maybe the more impactful videos I do. And for a while, I was only just doing one a month. So anyways, if you enjoyed this, there's more on my mind. Anyways, and I'll be sure to share it with you guys very soon. I want to thank you guys for all the love and the support and your kindness and your awesomeness and your badassery. I hear from you guys every day, and it's just always a joy to talk to people. I know I'm blessed in this way. A lot of people who I talk to say, I don't have anyone to talk to that understands me, and yet I have so many of you. I feel like I don't ever feel crazy because I have all you crazy people that I interact with, and it kind of makes me feel somewhat normal. And that's a blessing, and that's because of you guys. So thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for everything. I wish you the best. I feel like it's a really tough time. It's a time that's going to really stretch us, but I really believe anyone watching a video, not just because it's me, but of this nature about the Ascension, who's familiar with the Ascension, who's familiar with the awakening process, are the kind of people that are going to thrive in this energy. That's you. It might seem like you don't feel like you're thriving, I know, but we are. And that's why you're going through it so intensely now. Anyways, I don't want to get off into a whole nother tangent there. Have an amazing day, my friends. I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.